I think that looks pretty good the way we've got it. I'm going to add in the animals before we forget to do that. And I wanted to put the owl on top of my saguaro. So I'm going to go ahead and erase that part and put them up here. Okay, now remember when we started our owl, we started with a fairly good sized circle for the head, and then an oval that was kind of on an angle for the body, like that, and then another oval for the wing and the back, and you can make it pointed at the bottom, more pointed at the bottom than it is at the top, and then a little kind of a rounded triangle down here for the tail. Okay. All right, now let's go back in and put some detail in it. I'm hoping you can see that well enough and I'm not covering it. I want to start with a diamond for the nose, or for his beak, like this. And then eyeballs are going to be really big around it, like that. This is a fairly small one, so I'm hoping you can see the detail. Remember, because it is smaller, you don't have to put as much detail in here. And it has sort of this mask around his face, like that. And then you can put some feathers underneath its chin, there. And I think I'm going to wait to ink the rest of it in when I get the ink in here. Okay, so I'm going to just put a little triangle for his foot, and then remember we have talons. That's what allows it to hold on to things. And the other foot doesn't have to have as much detail in there. I kind of like the size of that on top of our cactus. Now closer to us, we're actually going to draw the tortoise and the lizard. So I'm going to put the tortoise over here so we have plenty of room for him. Let's go ahead and draw that in. Remember, that started with an arch, like that. You can make it as arched as you want it to. And then another one underneath it that wasn't nearly as curved, like this. And then when you connect those together, you want to create this wavy line at the bottom to kind of create that scallop look for the bottom of the turtle's shell. And then underneath, he also has a belly that's protected by a shell underneath. And you have a little head that's peeking out, like this. And his legs come out with a little bit of a knee and some toes. And then in the back, you've got one also that comes out like this with some toes, and his little tail that comes out here. Now notice how large this is in comparison to the owl, because the owl is further back, our tortoise is going to be bigger. Okay, all right, so let's put an eyeball here, and we can put the details in for his back, for the shell. Remember that you want to leave space in between, like we did for our butterfly. Make it look like it's growing bigger and bigger and bigger. Like that. And then right along the bottom. Like that. Cute. All right, now let's get our lizard in here. I think I'm going to draw the lizard over here on this rock, and then we're going to put all of our camping gear, or our hiking gear, sorry, on the rock in front of it like this. All right, so we started with our lizard. Remember, we had two ovals. I actually think I'm going to turn him a little bit, and I'm going to put him facing down a little bit. So there's the oval for his head, and then the oval for the body, like this. It's going to be larger than the head, and then you're going to have a long triangle for the tail, like this. Okay, then up at the top of the head, you want to make this kind of a little bit more pointy for his mouth, like that. And he's got a little eye there with a line that goes back towards his back. And his front leg is a C, and you can put toes in, like that. And the back leg is sort of a backwards S, like this, and then it also has toes. Remember, this is our horned lizard, so we want to make sure that we make it look nice and spiny, like it can survive out here in this desert. If something were to try to eat it, it would not be so easy. But remember, I'm gonna leave that until I have the inking done, and those are just zigzag lines that we're gonna put in here on his back to make him look like a horned lizard. All right, so those are our animals that we're going to put in here, and then I'm also going to put in the elements that we need for our hike. So down here on the ground, I'm going to draw in our backpack, and remember the backpack starts with a smaller arch like this, and then you want to extend it a little bit like that. That creates the first compartment, and then we're going to draw another arch that's larger, extend it a little bit like that, and then we need to have the handles, the straps that go on our back on either side, and we want to have little zippers with the pull that goes on either side like this. Now, if you don't remember how to draw any of these, if I'm going too fast, if you don't like the way it's looking, definitely go back into those previous lessons that we did together during the week, and you can get a better, slower version of how to draw all of these objects, because in this video it gets a little bit long if I take too long to get it done. So then I'm going to also draw the binoculars. Binoculars are going to sit up a little bit off of the rock here, and so we're going to start with 2 ovals. It's going to overlap our agave a little bit. 2 small ovals at the top, and then move down and draw 2 larger ovals underneath like this, and then you're going to connect them with straight lines like that. Okay. Now at the top we want to extend just a little bit, and we want to make the eyepieces, the lenses up there at the top, and we're going to do the same thing at the bottom, extend it up, make some larger openings down there at the bottom, and then of course it needs to be connected. That's kind of where you adjust your view, and I'm going to leave the strap off for now until I get my map drawn in here. Now the map is going to overlap those a little bit too. Remember, the map starts with some vertical lines, and they don't all have to be exactly in the same direction, like this. And then you're going to start with a zigzag. So if you start down here at the bottom, this bottom, and go up to the next line, and down to the next line, and up to the next line, and you want to create that same kind of zigzag up above. Up to the first line, or second line, excuse me, down to the next one, and then up to the next one, and that creates kind of the folded map look. And then on top of that, you're going to draw kind of that wavy, curvy line to create the path that we're going to follow.